Caribbean Edge.
And then go live.
All right.
I don't know, it's spinning, so I don't know. Good evening and welcome to the Caribbean Edge. My name is Dawn Wilson.
And I'm Fabian Lyon.
And I'm Cheryl Ann Marshall.
Welcome. In the Caribbean Edge news, we have Senator Kamala Harris running for presidency in the 2020 election. She's of Jamaican and Indian descent. And we also have Buju Banton, the famous reggae artist, dancehall king, doing his Long Walk to Freedom, which is also the name of the autobiography for Nelson Mandela. We also have a Guyanese model, international runway model, Juanita Bledman, and she acquaints her success to Dark and Lovely. We also have the first Caribbean side to qualify for Women's World Cup, and that's the Jamaica Reggae Girls. So really proud of them. They had lots of help as well from a lot of local people in South Florida, including some coaches. So kudos to them as well. They got a lot of help from Bob Marley's daughter, Cedella Marley. So she helped them through the Bob Marley Foundation. So lots of support for the Reggae Girls, and we wish them all the best. Now, in the U.S., we're facing 33 days of the government shutdown. We see a lot of people helping people that haven't received a paycheck for about 2 weeks now. And there was a reported shortage of TSA agents on Sunday. So thanks everyone for helping where you can to help people out in times of needs. Now, thank you for joining us for TCE News.
Hi everyone again. Our topic today is dating now versus then. And we want to open up the floor. We want to welcome our viewers to post comments, to ask questions, so that we can get a conversation going. But in the meantime, I want to add that even though I am a married woman, I once dated, and I have quite a couple of single friends that are dating now. And from what I understand, it seems to be very challenging due to the fact that there's social media, texting, online dating, media sites. So it's become a little bit challenging. Dawn, what do you have to say in regards to dating? Are you even welcoming? Are you even thinking that this is something that you compare it, because you probably once dated, and before you had your children, before you were committed, and now you're probably back on the dating scene.
So dating for me is challenging. I believe that, especially now, when I was younger, I believe it was a lot easier to date. Now that I'm older, I think my desires, my needs have obviously changed. My expectations are more than when I was younger. So I find that I do not meet a lot of people that I'm interested in dating. And the online dating thing scares me. I don't believe it's for me. I did try it once. I went on for about half an hour, and someone popped on and asked me a question and said, well, they made a statement that my pictures, I look different in all the pictures. And so I immediately came off because I just didn't want the small talk, so to speak. And I was hesitant on going on to begin with.
Well, the online dating seems to be something that has become very popular. According to eHarmony, 40% of Americans use online dating.
That's a very high amount.
even though I have girlfriends that refuse to go on to eHarmony, they refuse to be subjected to online dating. They feel like if they're subjected, they feel like if they become subjects.
Right.
But on the upside to that, I have a very good friend from high school, and she met her husband online. They've been married over 5 years. She met him online, and they're living happily ever after as we speak. So I think for some people it works out, and for some people it don't. But I think 40% was a really high number when I found out that that's the number that's the percentage that's actually using online dating. Fabian?
Yeah, I think the social media aspect of dating gets a bad rap. I think there's a stigma that many people don't want to admit that they're going online, as if it's a step down to the traditional sense of meeting somebody somewhere. But I look at it in a different way, as if I think it provides a better way to vet a potential boyfriend or girlfriend, as opposed to you going out in a traditional setting. And this way you could get a general idea, because as far as not being honest, you're going to get that anywhere, whether it's online or at a bar or in a club or whatever the case might be.
Very true.
But I do think from a distance, you can get a pretty good idea of who this person is. And now through the magic of Google, you can Google people and see if this person has been in any kind of trouble or anything like that. So once again, I think the social media part of it is kind of a lot of people don't want to admit that they'd have to try something like that, but I do think that it has many advantages. Obviously, you don't have that personal touch to it yet, but it gives you the first step where you can kind of narrow down your choices, find people that you have things in common with, and then you can take that step to meet them and come face to face and see what happens from there.
I kind of disagree. I think it's not necessarily honest, because people put pictures of themselves 10, 15 years ago and create, when you go to meet the person,
They look nothing like
the pictures. You would walk right by them. So it's not necessarily honest. And but you did touch a great point, which is you can also Google them, because if they have another profile somewhere, so you kind of have to do your investigative work. I just think it's such a hassle for me personally to get up and go meet a stranger in the dark. I'm just old-fashioned, and so it just takes a lot out of me to go. If it's like a friend setting you up, it's probably different. But to just go meet someone online, I guess it works for a lot of people. I had a friend that has done it a couple times. She met one guy, she was in a great relationship with him, but they went their separate ways. And, you know, she's been dating another guy through Match.com actually for, I want to say, about 3 years now. So she's been successful, but she did say she had to kiss a couple frogs to get to
Well, wouldn't you have kissed the frogs anyway, regardless? I mean,
not when you meet them in person. Not if you met them on the
Not
street.
literally kiss them, but I do think you have to go through, you know, you have to kind of wade through the potential suitors out there.
You do.
And
you
whether
have to
it's,
wade through it, yeah.
You have to wade through it, you know.
You do.
I do think now with women becoming more financially independent, say in the last 20 years, for example, and they're more mobile and doing things. I think that's a great, I mean, both of you can speak better than me, but I do think that now, you know, they can be mobile and, you know, checking online and seeing who might be there.
Well, as independent as we have become, I put myself in someone's shoes who would have to date online right now. And I'm a coward. I feel like, I'm gonna have to tell a friend. I'm gonna have to call a friend and say, hey, I'm gonna meet Henry at
Exactly.
Brio's, and could you please check up on me? Maybe you follow me. Maybe you hang out in the parking lot, because I don't know if this guy is really what he says he is.
Right.
What if he kidnaps me? What if he decides to take me and tie me up? I think like that. So I'm gonna be a little bit concerned. I'm gonna be a little bit worried, and I'm gonna have to have some kind of backup plan. I'm gonna have to have some
And
kind
married
of
men go on these sites and pretend they're single.
Single.
So it is not, to me, an honest way to date. But yes, it kind of helps you because I'll take myself for example. I don't date much, and it's because I'm a creature of habit, so to speak. So I like my Caribbean vibes. I like to hang out with my friends. So I'm usually typically in the same surrounding, the same friends, and it's hard to go outside that circle because it's your comfort zone. And I'm going to apologize in advance if I say anything to offend anyone, but those people have also, been with people within those circles. They've had relationships. And so it puts them on a blacklist for me. Like, I can't date them knowing that someone I know has already dated them. So it kind of shortens that bucket for me, so to speak, or that selection. But yeah, I think for me personally, it's more about venturing out more, meeting more people in the world. But I don't believe the online date. I'm not knocking it. I may try it. I'm not ruling it out. I just haven't found that comfort level to do it yet because I don't want to go through the frogs kissing scenario to meet people. I want to meet someone naturally.
I want to meet someone new. Like you said, you want to meet someone outside of the circle.
Yeah.
You want to meet someone outside of the circle. That outside of the circle reminds me of a period of separation that my husband and I went through. Because remember, we've been married for almost 25 years.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right.
And knowing your bubbly,
Thank you.
outgoing personality.
Thank you. We're still working at it.
Yeah.
But we've been through, I think it's 2 separations. And I remember being back out in that dating world. And I thought to myself before going through the separations, well, maybe you guys should try swinging. Maybe that's something that will
You
bring back.
considered
I
swinging?
did
Oh my
consider
gosh.
it. I considered it.
Interesting.
I did consider it. But at that time, I had no idea what swinging actually entailed. I heard the term. I'm like, wow, this might basically brighten things up, But then when I thought about it, I'm like, wow, you're basically meeting other couples and deciding whether or not you want to lay in bed with them.
Right. But there are different levels to swinging too,
Well,
from what I found out.
Of course.
Because I had to research
Oh,
the swinging
okay.
thing.
Of
A
course.
disclaimer there.
I did. I had to look it up.
Right. So
Okay.
what are the different
What are the
levels that
different
that
levels?
you found?
Oh boy. So I found out they have a swinger fest. And there's actually one in Miami. Don't know dates or anything, so you have to Google yourself. But when you go to this swinger fest, you're given different wristbands. And it means that you can like touch with someone is what one wristband means, but not necessarily swap saliva or penetration. And then now there's a separate wristband if you're into women or if you're open to being with men. And then there's a black wristband in case you want to try that, tie yourself up, matrix, real rough
Wow.
stuff.
Well, I
So
didn't even
they-
get that far. I did not even get that far because the thought of my husband laying in bed with another woman was like, no.
Yeah.
The thought of me having to lay in bed with another man was no. It was like, I'm not the type that would that would even get that far unless I have really strong feelings for you. I have to be basically in love with you for us to engage in sexual relations.
Yeah.
So I had to rule it out. I was like, this swinging is not going to work for me. It's not going to work for my husband. It's not going to work for either one of us. But the fact that you said outside of the circle brought that back to me, because I thought to myself, we did think about an open marriage, an open relationship at one point in time. And we discussed it. And we discussed whether or not we can basically engage in this type of interaction with people within our circle. And we were like, no, if we're going to have an open relationship, we cannot and at any point engage with anyone inside of our circle.
Yeah.
So both didn't work. Open marriage, swinging was like, no. No, I'm not saying that it's not going to work for other people or other couples.
Yeah.
But personally, for me, it was just not going to work. And for him, he was like, no way.
I'm like that too. I'm a
Yeah.
jealous creature. I can't envision
Yeah.
sharing my partner
Yeah.
with someone else. It just would be a no-no.
Exactly.
And then I think the person may catch feelings for the other woman.
Exactly.
And it does happen, and
Of
they break
course.
up because
Of course.
now they've involved.
You're falling in love with someone
Right.
else.
So a lot of swingers attend these events so that
Yes.
it's just a one-stop thing, and
Yeah.
then they move on. So there's not that attachment. But they have couples that do it.
There are couples that do it, and they can totally separate love from sex.
Yeah.
I've
and I
never
can't.
been able to do that. It's hand in hand for me. It's hand in hand.
You notice who's being quiet
Yeah,
in here?
tell us.
The man's
tell us.
perspective
We want a
on
male.
dating.
Yes, we want to hear what you have to say.
Well, what I do know is easy to say you won't catch feelings. It's a one day, one time thing. But once you are in that arena, anything can happen. So for anybody to assume that, oh, it's only going to be a one-time thing, you cross many borders once you reach that level of intimacy.
Yeah.
So there's no really way of saying it's only going to be a
One-time
Oh,
thing.
I don't think,
And this takes me to, how does that affect your relationship after the moment, whether you're married or you're in a boyfriend or
Exactly.
girlfriend? Will it ever be the same? I mean, so a lot of the dynamics I would imagine change after that. But if that's your lifestyle, however, and if both parties agree to it and it's working, then who are
More
we
power
to say
to you.
more power to
More
you?
power to
Everybody,
you.
everybody
And-
wants something different or
I
needs something
agree.
different.
I agree 100%.
And if they're more
that's what-
open-minded and they
yeah.
want a third party and
Yeah.
it turns them
Yeah.
on, then
Apparently, this is been going on for years and years. It's nothing new.
No.
It's just growing, and it's growing because women have become more independent financially. They're more, they're not home cooking dinners as much as back in the 50s. So women are going out more, venturing out more, and from what the research showed me, more women are instigating these arrangements versus the men.
Wow.
The numbers were like 80% women were the
Wow, that is
instigators
high.
of doing
That is
it.
high.
Yes.
That is
And
high.
if like the couple would go out, they would scout out which couple they were interested in. They both have to agree is what one couple
I would
did.
think.
And she was engaged. They have kids. It's normal for these arrangements to take place. So some of our neighbors, your friends watching this, are doing it,
Are
and it's
actually
just
swinging.
their
All
personal
walks of life.
choice.
All walks of life.
Some people are okay with just having sex, and some people, you have to have feelings for this person, which doesn't necessarily come the first day you meet them,
Right.
but over a period of time. And it's whether you're willing to spend that time getting to know the individual to venture into that relationship. And another interesting thing I found was, in the Caribbean community, we we say our people cheat a lot, and they do. So sorry if I'm offending anyone, but cheating is because you're being dishonest and you're not telling the person, hey, I'm interested in Sherrilana, I'm gonna have a little side thing with her,
Right.
So you're being deceptive to your partner. A lot of couples are actually these open marriages. So one documentary I saw, the lady and the husband both had their girlfriends, and then they had additional girlfriends and boyfriends. Like they were dating 2-3 different people. They have kids, they have families, and they come together for family events. And they say it's open communication. And that's a growing trend, to just be open with your relationship versus lying and cheating and sneaking and hurting the person's feelings.
I can understand that because we're only human.
Right.
If I were to sit here and tell you that my husband, who we've been together for over 25 years, if I were to sit here and tell you that my husband is not attracted to any other woman that's out there, I would be lying to myself. I would be lying to myself. Oh my God, I would be so lying to myself. He's a man. There are beautiful women out there. There are sexy women out there. And there are times when I show him, I'm like, whoa, did you see that woman that just passed by? I would say it. I would say that. And there are times when I would say to him, wow, did you see that guy? Wow. So I could totally relate with that, where some people might want to open up their relationship to engaging in what's actually out there. But I'm just saying, for me, like how you said you're a jealous person, I will worry that what if he falls more in love with this woman that he is with me?
Exactly.
That would be my issue.
Yeah.
That would be my
That is the
issue.
risk that you
And
run.
then I lose him. I lose him like forever.
I think it just changes.
Yeah.
If you enter into a relationship with anyone else, that would be my fear.
Right.
That it would change my relationship with my partner.
Exactly.
So I'm not willing to take that risk.
chance. Yeah.
I think of the diseases that are out there,
Let's not
which is
forget.
why a lot of there were places that actually they were legal, open, and you could go in there, these huge rooms with mats, and have wild, passionate sex with any couple you wanted the whole night. And then when AIDS was rampant, that's when a lot of these open houses, whatever they're called, were actually shut down. But it was really rampant. We want to thank our viewers for actually
Thank you, guys.
commenting and tuning in tonight. I see Nikki on. I think some couples turn to it and add spice to their relationship, which is something we touched on.
Yes.
It could add spice or it could take away some
Yeah,
spice.
I could
out
see where
there.
it could add spice. I mean, I could so see where it could add spice. I'm just saying from a personal viewpoint, I'm gonna get a little bit concerned. Just a tad.
Definitely.
Just a tad.
And we invite more comments from you, so if you want to chime
Yes,
in on just the online dating and what else we're
Well,
talking about here.
I see Mr. Stuart Marshall chimed in.
Oh,
I
oh.
don't think you can go from being married to someone to swinging with them. I think you can meet someone and start swinging with them from early in the relationship. Totally different.
Very valid point, Mr. Marshall. Very valid point. Yeah, yeah.
And Joyce, good night, Joyce. Do you think the women are doing because they feel they have to do this to keep their partner?
Wow.
Very good question.
I think
But-
that might very well be it, Joyce.
But according to that study,
It's the
80%
men.
of
So let's
women were
reverse the
instigating it.
question.
Yes.
Men may be doing it because they're women. Regardless of the sex, if one person in that relationship is open to it, then I would imagine they want to convince the second person to get involved.
Well,
And you may do it to keep your husband or
Yes.
wife, boyfriend,
I
girlfriend.
can see that. I can see
Yeah.
if my husband had come to me and said that swinging is needed, in this marriage, needed, very strong word, needed, I may have to consider in order to keep him. If I thought that I really wanted to hold on to this man of mine, I may have to consider it. But that does not mean that it will cause the end of our marriage. That does not mean that. Yeah.
Well, I think of the children in these situations because, you know, I guess for the most part, and this is an assumption on my part, that if you are going to enter into some of these situations, that your kids are probably grown and unaware of your adult activities. But some of the stuff that I looked at in research in this topic, that wasn't the case. Like the various couples that are all intertwined, dating each other, their kids were involved.
Wow.
Like, you know, you would walk up to, like one woman would walk up to the next woman and just kiss her right there in the middle of the barbecue. And the kids are there. And this is their normal lifestyle. But they're being open and honest. So as kids, the research showed that, you know, they just think that, you know, everyone's loving and happy and blessed and all that. But the research has yet to be proven or shown or researched what happens to those kids later on in life. What's their take on relationships? You know, there's, you know, have we gone away from, you know, being that married couple, that sacred boyfriend, girlfriend? Have we ever even been there for the majority? Because a lot of people cheat. And with the marriage, the divorce rate is over 50% in the US. I believe in Canada it's about 40%. So, you know, you really didn't grow up with the picket fence that your parents taught you, that you'd just be married to one person. That was your belief, right?
Yeah.
You get married and stay together forever and ever. And that surely didn't happen. So that's why people are more open to swinging or having these open conversations where
So they can hold on to their relationships.
Yeah, because
So they can
you're
hold on
not
to
going to be with one
their
person
relationships.
anyway.
Yeah.
The chances of you staying married for 25, 30 years, you're going to have multiple partners in life. I don't want them all at once. That's the difference.
I can't handle them all at once.
There's a whole generation doing it.
Yeah.
And when I think of, you know, like younger and being in love and, you know, teenage years, it was just, you know, hugging and then eventually kissing. Nowadays, from what I understand, they're open. These young teenagers that are experimenting or falling in love are open to, like, for them, doing other sexual things. Are like kissing is more daring for them. It's like the reverse. Like, I don't know if we could say it on the show, but someone said, well, I didn't kiss them, but I did go down on them.
Right.
Like, for us, it's the reverse, but for them, being able to give someone, you know, that, go down on them was insignificant. Kissing was more...
Yeah. I remember talking to my daughter when she was in middle school, and she said part of the dating process was oral sex.
Yeah.
She said that part of the dating process was oral sex, and I was like, really? For me, that's something that's so intimate that I can't even imagine that would be part of my dating process. I mean, no.
Well, thank you, Marco Brown. He makes a valid point. He says, check out Woodlands, Texas for the most swingers, over 4,000 swingers, home identifiers with a pineapple on the front lawn, for real.
Wow.
So they have a pineapple to identify
symbol.
that they're open to swingers.
Wow.
Very interesting.
So now we'll never look at pineapples the same way, right?
Absolutely not.
We will not. We will not.
But you know, going back to the online dating phenomena, I was really surprised by some of these numbers. 40% of Americans use this
Online
online dating.
dating.
I didn't realize it was that high.
Neither did I.
You know.
Neither
So
did
I have to get with the program then.
Well, you might want to give it a shot again and be a little more patient with it next time. But I know Tinder, for example, they made $800 million alone last year. Tinder, just one of many. When you think of Match.com and you know that there's so many now, but so that shows you.
$800 million.
So that tells me that 40% is probably higher, and once again, people are not willing to. I think there's still a stigma of you can't find anybody, so why are you going online? You know, I know in the Caribbean community, for example, it's still a little frowned upon.
Yeah.
It's not that open mind that
Yeah.
hey, you know, you're busy, your day, you're hectic, you're staying late at work, and you can't just run out and meet somebody. Sometimes it's really on your tight schedule, so I can fully understand what the online.
I know I have American girlfriends as well who are single that really refuse to go online or have tried it and decided no, I don't want to go there. I have American girlfriends that just kind of, oh my God. I remember having a conversation with one of them just last week, and she's like, I think I'm gonna have to go online, and I really don't want to do that. That's exactly how she
I can
felt.
relate to
Yes,
her. I
yes.
think that for me, dating has become insignificant, and it's hard to say that.
Yes.
But I am so independent and enjoy my personal space and my life that to welcome someone into that space that doesn't meet the standards, and there are standards. You know,
There must be
I don't
standards.
smoke. I would never, or I hope never to date a smoker. I like people that take care of themselves, that are healthy. They work out, because I work out. You know, every weekend I'm out on the volleyball court at 7:30 a.m. I don't function with a lot of sleep, so that may annoy someone. I go out a lot. I'm social. I have friends, a lot of male and female friends. That may bother someone.
Right.
So finding at this stage in my life someone that can tolerate me, because you have to compromise to that. And there are other things I compromise on, but there's certain things that I won't compromise on. I won't compromise on enjoying every day of life. I won't compromise on getting up to go exercise. I'm not going to tell you to get out of bed, but you can't stop me from doing something that makes me feel good, that I'm addicted to either. So I just live in my own world, so to speak. If someone comes along and they do, I'm willing to go out and meet other people. I just don't think the online thing is for me, because there's so much fakeness on it. You're not meeting the real person online. But I understand too, you have to take the chance and go through some of those frogs to meet them. And it's also a chance, because I've scammed through those things. And there are a lot of not good looking people from my taste. And so it's a chance when you go on who is actually on at that time looking, right? And like you say, you have to do the background check, you know, check their mug shots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So final thoughts, final comments. Fabian, we're going to go with you first.
Well, I think it is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, this phenomenon of online dating. Seeing that we've become so mobile now, and we can be all over the world and logging on to Match.com in 2 different parts of the world. And I think it's just something that our younger generation are very comfortable with. We did not. We grew up with in the days of wine and roses, so to speak. You'd meet somebody, you'd court them, and you'd bring them a flower or something, and you'd say sweet things in their ears. But the world has changed so much. That does not mean that we cannot partake to some
I
degree.
just want to add, when I was growing up, there was this guy that was courting me. This dude brought me a single long-stemmed red rose every day.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Melted my heart. Melted my heart. We had like a 5-year-long relationship.
Oh.
Yeah, good guy.
So
You don't see that anymore. You do not see that
No,
anymore.
no.
I think it's just so rare.
Yeah.
So what you just described about, you know, being that guy that does the roses
Right.
and the chocolate
Right.
and the flowers and
Right.
the wine dine.
Right.
There's still guys that do
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't think, it just depends on what you're looking for
Mhm.
in someone and the stage in life you're in.
I think, you know what? I love the idea of dating. I just have to say, I've incorporated that in my marriage.
Good.
Yes, because I want to feel special. I want to see you being excited. I want my husband to feel excited about taking me out the way he did when he once did when we started to get to know each other. So I like that idea. I don't demand it every week. I don't have like a time span in it. Just know that's how I want to feel. I want to feel your love. I want to feel that connection. So we have incorporated that in our marriage. I worry about my daughter dating because I want her to find that right person. I worry about my close friends dating because I hear about all of the challenges.
Yeah.
And I just think that you have to basically, you know how they have that, those words of advice for people that are out there looking and thinking that they want to find that right person. I think you have to be that right person.
Mm-hmm.
I think in order to find that right person, you have to be that right person. You have to put out what it is that you expect. And that's basically my final thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I also worry about my kids dating. I think it's a whole nother world for them.
It is.
I think it's fast paced. I wish they could experience what I did when I was younger, that wine and dining, bringing the roses. And I haven't given up hope that it still exists.
That's great.
So definitely may consider online dating at some point, but that point isn't now because I'm in my own zone of figuring out, Dawn Wilson. If someone comes along that, or a couple people come along going out is perfectly fine, but nothing to be rushed. And, I think back in the day, I used to always think I needed to be in a relationship, but that was years and years and years ago. Where if you don't meet the right person, I'm not willing to settle.
Right.
People stay in marriages or relationships
Yeah.
that they're not happy in. And I think, the sooner I decide this isn't for me, the better it is because then I can enjoy my life.
Right.
And I don't need another person to make me feel complete.
Yeah.
So those are my final thoughts.
What is good is that we have way more options than we had, say, 15, 20 years ago. So if you haven't tried it and you want to give it a shot and see where that goes, and it doesn't go, then
Give what a shot? Online dating or swinging or the couple mingling?
well, I was talking about the
online dating, okay,
online dating,
or swinging or couple mingling. They're all kind of 2019 trends. Well, thank you guys for taking your time out to join us for another episode of the Caribbean Edge. Keep your comments coming. We'll respond to them. And please remember to share and invite people, your friends, to join the Caribbean Edge Facebook page as we continue to have these very interesting topics and conversations.
We want to... Go ahead, Fabian.
Go ahead.
We want to dedicate this episode to everyone that's out there trying to find that right person. And again, I want to stress that as much of the expectations that you have to be able to give of yourself as well. Leave the egos behind. Give, and I promise you, I think you're going to see all of that in return. Your ego is not your amigo. I wore this shirt especially for this episode because it's not. It's not. Just, yes, you have to love yourself first, but you have to give what you expect. And I think you're going to see a lot more of the returns when you do that.
Yeah.
With the right person.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want you to tune in with us every Wednesday at 8 o'clock and share us with your friends. You're part of our family. and send in your suggestions as far as show ideas, and let's build this thing together. So thanks for joining us once again.
Thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you. Have a great evening.